Здравствуйте! С вами экстренные новости на
Greetings! We
канале
are happy
АЛЛАТРА
to
ТВ.
welcome you on the live broadcast of the breaking news on ALLATRA TV.
Настораживает события, которые происходят в
The
данный
events
момент в
currently
Исландии и
taking
США.
place in Iceland
Ученые не
and the
могут объяснить
USA are
причины
alarming.
процессов, происходящих в
Scientists
этих
cannot
странах,
explain the
а
reasons for the
озвучивают их
processes taking
предположения.
place in these countries,
Об этом
but only
смотрите в
make
следующем сюжете,
assumptions.
который
More on
подготовила
this, watch
репортер
next in the
АЛЛАТРА
story
ТВ США
prepared
Ольга.
by Olga, an ALLATRA TV reporter from the USA.
Greetings. This is ALLATRA TV reporter from the USA. An ongoing earthquake swarm in Iceland began on June the 19th, 2020. For 3 weeks, experts have registered over 10,000 underground shocks, 3 of which were the magnitude of about 5. Seismic activity in this area is still continuing. The quakes hit the area of the Torrential fracture zone, located in the northern part of the country. Seismic activities followed in the surrounding areas as well as in the capital, Reykjavik, which is about 200 kilometers away. Notably, experts cannot tell at the moment what exactly caused them. Christine Janstetter, earthquakes hazard officer for the IMO, previously stated that the swarm was the largest recorded in the Torrential fracture zone in the past 40 years. She also said that behavior is episodic. We record hundreds of earthquakes in a few hours, and then it becomes quiet. And all of a sudden it starts again. The last swarm in 2012 was ongoing for a few weeks. Let's hope we only have a few weeks to go. That being said, experts cannot even assume when these earthquakes will end and what consequences they may have. It is worth noting that Iceland is located on the border that separates the tectonic plates of North America and Eurasia. Experts report that the country is as if being split into 2 parts, and this is due to the fact that the North American plate began to move towards the west. However, the strain in the Torrential fracture zone can only occur if the plates started to move in opposite directions. Previously, there have also been claims that the cause of the earthquake swarm could relate to geothermal production in the area. Meanwhile, the earthquakes continue in the state of Idaho, USA. Would like to recall that on March the 31st, 2020, a powerful earthquake of 6.5 magnitude occurred in the southwest of the state. It was the second strongest earthquake ever recorded in Idaho and the most powerful one in 37 years. Over the next few months, experts continued to record underground shocks in this region. Some of them reach a magnitude of 4.8. As of the end of June, the U.S. Geological Survey had recorded over 200 earthquakes of magnitude 3 and above. Unfortunately, the central Idaho region is geologically very active, but poorly studied, and seismologists are currently unable to explain exactly what caused the main earthquake and why the subsequent ones are happening. It should be noted that in mid-July increased seismic and how can we just be safe in this period? So what should people do today so to unite all our efforts and to build a happy future? I believe that the unification of people for the common goal of building the creative society is really worth doing in such a society in which everyone would be feeling happy and safely. This is the way out of the situation which are currently observing today.
It should be noted that in mid-July an increased seismic and volcanic activity was observed almost all over the globe. ALLATRA TV reporter from Italy will tell us more about these disasters. Antonina, hello. We are happy to welcome you on the live broadcast on ALLATRA TV. The floor goes to you.
Thank you. Hello, it's ALLATRA TV reporter from Italy. On June 19, volcano Stromboli erupted again on the island with the same name, near Sicily in Italy. 2 powerful explosions were registered, sending a column of black smoke above the crater and volleys of debris and lava spills across its slopes. People living on the island felt earth tremors. It is worth noting that seismologists are concerned about seismic activity in the region being significantly over the average. On the same day, July 17, 2020, an earthquake of 7.0 magnitude occurred off the coast on Papua New Guinea. The epicenter of the tremors was located 114 kilometers northern of the city of Papandeta in Ora province. The earthquake hypocenter was located at a depth of about 80 kilometers. According to eyewitnesses, they felt a strong earth tremor in the area of the earthquakes and the swaying of buildings. There was no information about casualties or destruction. Chile and India also experienced strong earthquakes of 6.0 and 6.1 magnitude. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake occurred in Alaska on July 21, 2020. The epicenter of the earthquake was in the ocean 105 kilometers south of Perryville. Residents of the Alaska Peninsula felt strong tremors within a radius of 106 kilometers of the epicenter, while the weak ones were felt at a distance of more than 800 kilometers in the areas of Matsu and Anchorage. After potential tsunami report, people started to evacuate from coastal areas and the cities of Homa and Kodiak. After the main earthquakes, about 50 aftershocks were recorded, the strongest of which were the magnitude of above 5. This year, earthquakes released about 15 times more energy than the 7.0 magnitude earthquake in Anchorage in 2018, which has caused enormous damage at this time. But fortunately, this earthquake did not cause much damage because it happened in the ocean. Yuri, I give the floor back to studio.
Thank you for your report, Antonina. We have an ALLATRA TV reporter from South Korea now. In her next report, she will tell us about natural disasters in her country as well as other parts of the world. Hello, Elena. We are happy to welcome you on the live broadcast, and the floor goes to you.
Greetings, this is ALLATRA TV reporter from South Korea. On July 13th, heavy rains also hit south areas of South Korea, causing devastating floods. Unfortunately, few casualties have been reported. In some places, almost a month amount of rainfall fell within 24 hours. Houses, farms, and roads were flooded and destroyed. On July 17th, 2020, an unusual interaction between two low-pressure zones caused severe storms over northern New Zealand. In Whangarei City, 220 millimeters of rain fell within 12 hours, which is almost 1.5 times of the monthly amount in July. In other areas, over 250 millimeters of rain fell within just 24 hours. The Northland region was virtually cut off by floods and landslides from the rest of the North Island. Some areas were submerged in the flood waters about 1 meter deep. Rescue workers evacuated people from flooded houses and vehicles that were caught by water. On July 18th, 2020, a violent storm struck the southeast coast of Australia, the city of Wamberal. As a result, the shoreline erosion situation worsened since high sea waves damaged the soil. Most fences and terraces were washed away, and the foundations of some buildings were also severely damaged. 2 houses were partially destroyed and another one suffered significant damage. The residents of the affected homes were evacuated, and their neighbors were warned of the danger. Many people had to abandon their homes. Thank you very much. Giving the floor back to the studio.
Yelena, thank you for your report. Indeed, many people around the world witness shifts in seasonality of the world. Our next ALLATRA TV reporter will tell us about the consequences of climate change in his country. Hello, Ekaterina. We are happy to welcome you on the live broadcast, and the floor goes to you, please.
Thank you, Yuri. Hello, this is ALLATRA TV reporter from Russia. On July 17, 2020, hail and rain hit Rostov-on-Don. Streets were flooded. People were evacuated. Some cars were submerged in the water. Rescuers made a lot of efforts to save people's lives. Also, in many areas, water had to be pumped out of buildings. Due to the natural forces, the bridge across Temernik River was damaged. On the same day, on July 17, 2020, a heavy flood occurred in the Republic of Tiva. Due to the prolonged rains, a state of emergency was issued in 4 districts. People who were stuck between the fording points of the Barlik River were evacuated. As a result of the disaster, bridges were destroyed, roads were damaged, and homes and homesteads were flooded. Meanwhile, in Stavropol Krai, irrigation canals overflowed due to the heavy rain, and 3 settlements of Budyonnovsky district were flooded. Previously, on July 16, 2020, a critical situation occurred in the streets of Irkutsk. Almost a month's amount of rainfall fell within 24 hours. All-consuming rain filled the streets, which caused traffic problems. People had to be evacuated from one of the streets. Because of the rise in water level in the Kitoy River, there was flooding of lower section of roads, summer houses, and homesteads. On the same day, the storm front with gusts of wind 97 kilometers per hour caused enormous damage in the south of the Amur region. Oktyabrski district was affected the most. Buildings were damaged. Trees were uprooted. Many settlements were left without electricity. 2 wooden water towers were torn down. On July 14, 2020, a gale force wind swept through Saratov region. 49 settlements were affected. As a result of the disaster, homes were damaged, trees were felled, and several settlements were left without electricity. Today, each person can see the climate change in front of the window. I live in Irkutsk, and I can say that the season changed in our district. And now, during winter, you can see how the snow is melting. And in spring, you can see the summer weather. And we can see that all together we can survive through cataclysms and build such a society where the human life will be the main value. Also, the human safety should be the main value. Let's build a creative society together. I give the floor back to studio.
Ekaterina, thank you for your report. Diana Alenin, psychotherapist, has shared her views on why people behave irrationally in extreme situations and how important it is to build a creative society in the times of global climate change.
Today, the climate on the planet is changing rapidly. There is an increase in climatic disasters all over the world, and it concerns absolutely everyone, regardless of their occupation, social status, or the place of residence. But if you look at how people behave and how they react, I would say that they do not react adequately. They react inadequately to the facts around them, and the biggest inadequacy is probably the attitude towards their lives. Towards their lives and the lives of people who, well, today, the life of any person is at risk due to such serious changes. And so I've been asking myself this question very often before and try to set it out because I've been observing the same things in myself. The desire to shift responsibility, for example, to the government, to the officials who are responsible for different areas. They should be responsible for our safety, for our protection in certain situations, right? I've been wondering why everyone is so inert and so irresponsible. And for a very long time, I haven't found these answers and just kept trying. But the clarity and understanding came to me only when I read the book ALLATRA and other books by Anastasia Novych. When it became clear to me what the true nature of a person is, right? What is the meaning of the true value of human life? And this was the key point. You know, life is bigger. It is the concept that relates more to the spirit, because life is infinite, it never ends. While body and consciousness are mortal structures. Therefore, it is more correct to say that they exist temporarily and it is them which just survive. In other words, the beast strives to survive in us, and it can survive only if it kills the personality. Personality is a spiritual being, and then, taking this into account, it becomes clear about the behavior of people when, for example, just before the volcano eruption, people are warned about it, right? Those people who literally settle at the foot of the volcano, but they refuse to leave their homes, and in the end, being cut off by lava, they die because the rescuers cannot help them anymore. Another very dangerous condition for people during natural disasters is panic. Panic is human behavior caused by an emotion of fear under the control of the emotion of fear. The person exactly at the moment of danger, the danger to the life of his body. This is how people most often behave when faced with natural disasters. But what is panic? Each of us can imagine that a person becomes inadequate. For example, he might not from danger, but he runs towards the danger. His actions become chaotic and unfocused. He can resist the help he's given. This is something that rescuers often complain about. How can we actually help people? What can we do? Because while we're trying to rescue them, they, for example, can be aggressive towards us. In other words, such are the actions of a person, but it's for the person who's under the emotion of fear and a state of panic. It's a person who's controlled by the beast. The beast has only one purpose: to kill the personality. Therefore, it becomes clear why our behavior becomes so inadequate, why it does not help our rescuing to other people, helping other people. In the video "Climate, the Future is Now," there were such words. Not the event itself is so terrible, but rather the animal-like behavior of people with a consumer worldview, because this consumer thinking is selfish thinking. When I don't care about anyone, I don't think about anyone, and this is exactly the behavior that is dictated to a person by the beast. It's in the same video "Climate, the Future is Now," Igor Mikhailovich gives such an explanation that consciousness does not give an understanding of the whole danger of the situation to the person up to the point of non-return, but when it's the end, when he sees it, then the panic starts. And in this video, in this statement, in many other videos, Igor Mikhailovich gives an explanation how consciousness, that is the beastiness, distorts reality. Taking this into account, it becomes clear, like I've said, about people's inadequate behavior to the events themselves, which are increasing to their lives and to the lives of others. But again, today we all have a great opportunity to change this situation. On the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, a project has been launched and is being implemented, the Creative Society Project. Today, people are given the 8 foundations of Creative Society, where the main value is bringing back the value of life of each person. And this is impossible without understanding who each of us is in reality, who a human is, and why the life of each person is so valuable.
After all has been said, no one knows when it will happen, but in reality no one knows because the choice is up to people. But when the choice is made, well, then everything will be clear.
This is just confirms that such an activation of the system precisely within these generations, yes, which live now, who come across this information, this also confirms that the events will actually occur within the generation that was brainwashed by means of consciousness, by means of mass media. And after all, people indeed destruct this information, indeed nowadays.
Because they
Something
don't
that
believe.
is a joke, something that is a lie.
Is it not so? How much profit was made? Well, they are constantly profiting. You've just mentioned 2012 and how mass media, let's say, promoted all this. How many people have profit from this? Did people believe? No, they didn't believe. Consciousness doesn't believe it. It doesn't believe to the point of no return, put it this way. But when understanding comes that this is the end, that's when the panic begins. Well, this is pointless to do anything.
It's just this moment how important it is for
Well, I'll put it this way. No one knows right now what choice humanity will make. But whatever happens, it's much more important to gain life now and to correctly distribute the main resource which I've mentioned, time and attention. What a person invests in is what he becomes. If he invests in life, he gains life. Then it doesn't matter what he will happen. All people who are here are mortal. Sooner or later, everything ends. Nowadays, time is passing much faster and everyone feels this, and there is a process of time acceleration. Recently it was spring and it's already autumn. We've just celebrated the New Year and it's already summer. Well, isn't it so? And everyone notices it in creeds. They say when a person is little, time goes more slowly, but for an adult it runs faster, and now even for kids it runs faster. Well, the question is, what do you spend this time on? If you waste it on earthly things, and if you live, let's say, just for today, well, is this day you'll remain? While it's important to enter tomorrow, it will be endless. That's what is important. Well, such people have nothing to worry about. Who knows what will happen tomorrow, and will there actually be tomorrow? For them, there definitely will be. That's what is important.